Tonight, the snapper restriction debate continues. Fresh claims livelihoods could be at risk and urgent calls for increased security to protect our health workers.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. A Whyalla fisherman says his livelihood is at risk if the government doesn't reconsider its plans to impose a 3-year ban on catching snapper. His calls for an independent review into the science behind the proposal is backed by local MPs.
Steve Storick has been running this snapper charter for almost 21 years, and he says the government's proposal to restrict snapper catches in the Spencer Gulf will have a devastating effect on Whyalla.
His initial reaction, it absolutely floored me. My heartbeat went up double-paced and I was absolutely gobsmacked that they chose to go with this decision.
With Whyalla known as the snapper capital of Australia, the proposal is sending shockwaves to local families. Steve says the impact it could have on South Australia's seafood industry could spell the end of their livelihoods.
It is catastrophic for our family, and not only my family, the other 30 operators around the state that are relying on snapper as well.
This local MP sharing those concerns, claiming it will be more than just fisheries affected, tipping the proposal will have a domino effect across other industries.
The forward orders that people have got, people have already booked into May next year, they booked accommodation and flights.
Now calling for an independent review behind the science, saying there's alternative steps which could be taken to preserve the species.
We need to do this in a very considered way on the basis of solid science and taking on board the anecdotal information that exists out there in the industry.
It has been flawed, it's not accurate science. They were told where to go when the fish were available and they chose not to.
The Primary Industries Minister says the snapper stocks need to be better managed to allow recovery back to sustainable levels, and the government is doing what it can to ensure that happens.
Is whether we have a full closure or whether we have a full closure in the Gulfs, the West Coast, and look at a partial closure in the southern waters.
The Minister is encouraging recreational and commercial fisheries to catch other species instead, but some fear this is not feasible.
A lot of the other species are seasonable and a lot of those species are available off land-based, so it's going to be very hard to sell a charter for those people to come and catch those other fish.
There's 1 month until a final decision is made. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
There's renewed calls tonight for greater security measures at regional hospitals after a nurse was allegedly assaulted at Port Lincoln Hospital earlier this week. With violent incidents at hospitals on the rise, the opposition says more needs to be done to protect those on the front line.
Recovering after a shocking attack at the hands of someone she was only trying to help.
It makes me sad and it makes me angry.
Nurse Amanda Tregus was allegedly struck multiple times while treating an 18-year-old patient in an unprovoked attack at Port Lincoln Hospital earlier this week.
I had no time to defend myself or do anything. I started screaming and they kept hitting me.
The mother now living in fear and not sure whether she'll ever return to work. The frightening incident reiterating a chorus of calls for increased security at our regional hospitals.
We believe that the amount or the number of these terrible and terrifying violent and aggression acts are increasing.
Just last month, new laws passed Parliament to protect all frontline emergency services workers from violence, meaning offenders will be charged the same as assaulting a police officer. But the Nurses Union is furious, saying that's not enough.
We do not believe enough measures are being taken in terms of security.
After a number of violent attacks on medicos at the Whyalla Hospital this year, the opposition says improved security needs to be the #1 priority.
It needs to be seriously looked at for the major regional hospitals.
It can be security personnel, it can be CCTV.
The 18-year-old alleged offender was granted bail and is expected to appear in court in September. SA Health says it's now offering support to Amanda in her recovery, with the hope she may one day return to work at the hospital.
Like anything else, we know that we need to keep improving and growing and responding.
My main concern is my family at the moment. I'm worried about them, about my kids. They're not in a good place about it. And nurses don't go to work expecting this to happen.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A recent study from Regional Development Far West has revealed there are plenty of employment opportunities in the region. The challenges the area faces is retraining locals and encouraging job seekers to move and stay there.
The jobs are there, they just need to be filled.
In the Far West, there's an opportunity for a lot of people to work in this area and for sustainability and growth for this area.
The regional development study was done in conjunction with 4 other partners, including Broken Hill Council and the state government. It found the opportunity for employment in the Far West is very high, and local hospitality and health industries agree. They're seeing a surge in their workforces.
This year we'll take 30 new graduates. So that's our biggest recruitment across any period throughout the year.
We want to put on a new apprentice for the chef in the kitchen, as well as further girls in the bistro, people in the bar.
Eric Hanna from the Tidwell Hotel plans to double his staff in the coming months, saying when there's more people employed, the local economy booms.
Well, it's great for everyone. People earn more money, then they're obviously going to purchase more things in town, whether it's houses, whether it's food, whether it's cars. It's a big circle, just keeps going around.
The RDA says to fill these job openings, one step is to provide local training, highlighting the Country University Centre and the TAFE as vital institutions.
Although we've got the business opportunities here and the employment opportunities, we just need the people trained well to sustain here.
The other goal, attracting those in the cities who are looking for work to move, saying that doubling the city's population is a pie in the sky, but even a small increase would have a major effect.
We've got to work together, we've got to work smarter, not harder, and to actually embrace what we've got and to have the culture that we've got.
Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a Port Augusta man's attempt at creating an amputee support group, and Whyalla set to light up with the show kicking off in just hours. Welcome back. Life as an amputee can be challenging, and connecting with similar people in regional areas can prove difficult too. But one Port Augusta man is hoping to change that. He's wanting to start an amputee support group in the town.
Rushed to the hospital with a severe ulcer, a nurse opened the doors of the ambulance to tell Peter Allen something that would change his life forever.
And she said, "Hello, I'm here, I'm now going to amputate your leg."
He had 2 choices, lose his right leg or lose his life within 5 days. Peter underwent the procedure in January last year, and since then it's been a slow journey of recovery.
It's no good saying life will carry on as normal afterwards. It doesn't. But you can, with practice, get back to near normality.
While even the simplest of tasks like changing a light bulb have become difficult.
Just reaching up, you've got to balance at the same time.
Grappling with the mental scars has been one of Peter's biggest challenges, but he's hoping to initiate a new support group in Port Augusta, connecting fellow amputees.
Nobody should ever go through this alone.
The support group is hoping to attract people like Rodney Aird. He lost his leg in a shotgun accident almost 60 years ago and wishes there was the support when he began his new life.
It probably would have been good to be able to talk to somebody else at times, yes.
There are close to 5,000 new amputations in the nation each year, and those affected say access to services in regional areas can be difficult. There are already support groups in Port Pirie and Whyalla, but this will be a first for Port Augusta.
It'd probably be good for them to get together and have some sort of communication with one another.
People sort of get to meet other people, get to hear other views, and you come away thinking, I'm not the only one.
The group will hold its first session next Thursday at Ian's Western Hotel. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The final preparations are being put on Jubilee Park, and crowds are expected to descend early for the Whyalla Show, which kicks off from tomorrow morning. Organisers are encouraging community members to visit for the new attractions, including a comedy hour.
It's showtime. The largest regional show in South Australia is set to take off in Whyalla this weekend, with entertainment for all ages.
There's the drumming monkeys, circus elements, James the travelling musician, and for the adults we have an amazing comedy hour after the fireworks this year.
Opening at 10 tomorrow morning, organisers are warning to get in early to beat the crowds.
We're expecting great weather, and with great weather come big numbers. Our pre-ticket sales have actually already been amazing, so we're expecting a lot of people this weekend. It's going to be fabulous.
Facilitators say the best rides have been handpicked for this show.
Equipment that will cater for the toddlers, right through to the thrill seekers. You know, anybody that wants to have a real good thrilling ride, we've got them here.
2 new changes will also be featuring in this year's event.
The services shed, promoting all the services that we have here in Whyalla. So we have 6 amazing services for our first year. We also have the beautiful Bogan performing after the fireworks, something that we'd like to kick off with a comedy hour.
And after a year of hard work, organisers say it's worth all the fuss.
A lot of families that can't make it to the Royal Show in Adelaide, and this is, as big as they're going to see anywhere. So, and good entertainment for the whole family.
We aim to get bigger and better every year. This one is definitely going to be bigger and better, and we're leading up to our 50th for next year.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
West Augusta footballers will take to the field in a new Aboriginal Guernsey ahead of the weekend's SGL Multicultural Round. Aboriginal players helped with the design, which reflects the many different language groups, cultures and history involved in the club. Players donning the shirts on the field and are able to purchase them after the game. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, a look into this year's footy season, and Britt will have your weekend weather. Welcome back. Broken Hill football is only a few weeks away from calling full-time on its 2019 season. With the race for the premiership heating up in the last of the minor rounds, Patrick Reinke has taken a look back at the city's 4 teams.
The 2019 AFL Broken Hills season has had its ups and downs. While West have pulled themselves up the ladder to be true finals contenders, Central has languished at the bottom. South still remain as the September favourite, while North are ever menacing. The South Roos sit top of the table and are poised to finish the season as minor premiers. The Red and White have the best attack in the league, thanks mostly to 45 goals to Cody Shawn. Their midfield still stands as the best of all, with the likes of Mark Purcell, who's a red-hot favourite to win this year's Lionel Johnston medal, Jordan Johns and Luke Lyons. South are not insurmountable though, they have been defeated a couple of times. For West, look how far they've come. In 2018, they won just 1 game. Now they loom as a premiership underdog. What's made the Robins so formidable this season is the effort from all its players, whether it be Heath Harris down back, Cohen Turner up forward, or Jake Crozier wherever he goes. Everyone is a standout on game day. If West don't make the grand final, I'd be very surprised. For North, it's been middle of the road. Sitting comfortably third, the Bulldogs haven't been able to beat South this year, but they've knocked over West 2 times. Jaden Kelly has played 12 games this season, and he's been in the best players for all of them. What an effort. The Blue and White won't back down from a fight. Expect them to contest the preliminary final and possibly upset the Robins. For Central, it's been a season to forget. The Magpies sit at the bottom of the ladder and are yet to win a game. Despite being on the receiving end of some monstrous defeats, the Black and White have continued to give it their all. Their pride for the club is unwavering, and towards the back end of the season, they've started to show what they're capable of. I don't think they'll get a win this year, but with a good pre-season and some new recruits, they'll be back in 2020. This year's final series is shaping up to be one of the closest in recent memory. With 2 rounds to go, it's still very hard to pick an outright winner.
And for this week's footy tips, let's hear from the experts.
Welcome to round 15 of the Spencer Golf Football League. Special round this weekend with the multicultural round. Saturday, tomorrow at Memorial Oval, Port Pirie. Traditional clash, Port versus Solomon Town. I'm tipping Solomon Town there. On Saturday at Central Oval, West versus Lions. West are out of the 5 at the moment. They certainly need to get back in there, and by beating Lions tomorrow that will help, but I don't think they can do that, so I'm tipping Lions. And on Sunday, a big game at Central Oval, Central versus South, traditional rivals. I'll be tipping South Augusta, obviously, but once again, come along and support the multicultural round.
2 weeks to go in Whyalla football. Ladder positions are set, and on Saturday's game, it's Central Whyalla versus South Whyalla. Sadly, can't see South getting within 20 goals. Big win to the Roosters. Roona Bay and Rapina, the other game on Saturday. Bays will play finals. Roos are going to miss out. This game will be close for a while, but Roona Bay to win. And finally on Sunday, match of the round, West Whyalla versus North Whyalla. West will finish top, North will finish third. They are the only team to beat West this year. West did beat them last time. On the bigger ground, the Dragons will have to be favourites.
This weekend is the penultimate round of Broken Hill footy. The big game tomorrow, North and West. 4 times they've met this year, 2 wins apiece. No quarter asked, none given. They'll meet again in 2 weeks in the prelim final. Who will win tomorrow? It's a toss of the coin. I think the Robins may get up. They're pulling out all stops. They're hitting their straps at the right time of the season. At Memorial Oval, South, minor premiers take on Central. The Magpies have not won a game this year. The South superstar Mark Purcell is in red-hot form. He will win the medal as the best player in the competition in Broken Hill. And South will win tomorrow and West will beat North.
Now it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather for the coming days. Here's Britt Aylen.
Thank you, Louise, and good evening. Before we get into the weekend, let's take a look at today. It's been mostly fine with light showers about the lower Eyre Peninsula. Broken Hill had the region's top temp at 23 degrees. Port Augusta reached 21, Whyalla 19, Port Pirie 18, Adelaide 16, Port Lincoln a top of 15 degrees. Looking to the skies now, where we can see the low over the Eyre Peninsula moving about the coast today. And moving ahead to tomorrow now, with a ridge of high pressure following that low overnight and a cold front coming through to the west of South Australia. We can expect northwesterly winds on the coastal waters at 15 to 20 knots with seas at 1.5 metres. The sun will rise just before 7 a.m. with sunset at 10 to 6 in the evening. It'll be a mostly fine Saturday with patchy morning fog and some showers about the Eyre Peninsula. Port Augusta and Broken Hill looking at tops of 25, Corn 23, Whyalla 22, Woodner and Port Pirie both 21, Cleve and Adelaide 20, a top of 18 expected at Clare and Kadina, 17 at Port Lincoln, Coffin Bay 16. And we've got stormy weather coming our way on Sunday with rain and strong winds expected about most of the region. Port Lincoln, Cleve and Woodner all with tops of 13 degrees and showers into the new week. Whyalla 15 on Sunday, looking fine and partly cloudy Monday and Tuesday. Port Augusta a top of 16 on Sunday, partly cloudy Monday, Tuesday. 14 the top at Kadina on Sunday with showers to kick off the new week. Port Pirie looking at a top of 15 on Sunday, showers Monday, Tuesday. Clare 11 degrees on Sunday, showers Monday with heavier falls expected on Tuesday. And finally to Broken Hill, the only centre not expecting rain and wind on Sunday. Looking fine and partly cloudy through to Tuesday. And Louise, that is the weekend weather. I'll see you next week.
Lovely, thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Friday evening. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening and have a lovely weekend. Good night.